Hey everyone, just wanted to make a quick YouTube video to show you how to make a VRC adapter using one of these. This is the Adafruit Itsy Bitsy board. You can also use the Adafruit Trinket MO board to make your own VRC adapter. First off, thanks to Colin Taylor at Diehard RC in Washington State for writing the code and putting it out there so that we can make our own boards this way. So I'll get into it, break it down step by step, and you'll see that it's not too hard to put together your own VRC adapter, probably easier than building one of the kits that most of us race. Okay, so there are a few items that we'll need to get started. First and foremost, we've got the Itsy Bitsy board itself. We need a couple of servo connectors with wires attached. You can buy these pre-made, you can crimp them yourself. Maybe the easiest way to do it is to buy a male-to-male servo extension and then cut it in half, strip the ends, and you'll end up with something like this. You'll need a receiver for your radio, and as far as tools, a soldering iron, some solder, something to hold the circuit board with while you solder it. I like using these little alligator clips, some wire strippers, scissors, a lighter, and heat shrink to finish. Okay, so first step with the circuit board is to put it into the alligator clips or put it somewhere that's going to hold it steady for you. We're going to use one of our servo connectors, give the wires a good twist to make sure that they're all together, and then we are just going to solder the negative wire from this onto the G or ground terminal on the Itsy Bitsy board here. So put that one in. And if you come in from the side with the components and go through to the other side and do your soldering work on there. You also want to make sure if you're using a soldering iron that you don't use the same size tip you would for RC connectors. You want something smaller, so I've got a small chisel tip on here. A small pencil tip would probably be ideal for this. I've got the temperature turned down to 650 Fahrenheit. Could probably go even lower with the temperature for this particular task. So I'm just going to attach this one here. So once you've got it soldered there, you might see you've got the end of that wire sticking up a little bit. So I just come through with the scissors. You could use side cutters for this as well. And just snip that to give a nice flat connection on the top there. And then I'll do the same for the rest of the wires. So next we're going to take this red wire from the same connector and go into the USB port on the into the USB pin, I should say, on the Itsy Bitsy. All right. So we've got our first two wires connected. Black wire going to G for ground. We've got our red wire going to this USB pin just here. Okay, so the process for connecting the rest of these is the same, so I'm not going to go through that step by step. Basically, we've now got our next servo connector on here. The black wire is going to A3 on the Itsy Bitsy board, the red wire is going to A4, and the white wire is going to A2. And we're going to hook this up in a bit of a different way to how we would normally connect to a receiver. So let me demonstrate that now. Once this is all wired up, we're going to take our 2-wire plug, and this is just going to go into the battery connection on our receiver. So for this one here, we go into this last port here, which is for the battery connector. Then with this 3-wire plug that we've got remaining, this is just going to plug across channels 1, 2, and 3. So this is what we're doing that's a bit different. You go across channels 1, 2, 3 like this. And plug in So we're only really using the signal wires here. We've already got power coming to the receiver on that battery channel, and then we're just getting a signal from channels 1, 2, and 3 to use to control in the VRC game. So since we're basically done with the soldering, let's protect the circuit board now. So just cut a piece of heat shrink, roughly to length. We're going to put our circuit board in there. This is a good time to double check that any of your connections on the back here are nice and flat, because this is when you'll see any of the sharp edges, that kind of thing, show up. Just want to make sure this is got our connector sticking out the end here. You may also want to have the wires coming out in the other direction. It's your preference as to how you set this up. But now that we've got this down to size here, I'm just going to shrink it as normal with heat shrink. Alright, so there we've got it, is our finished adapter. Now we just need to get the code onto there. You can see we're almost sealed off at one end with our connectors and our micro USB port here on the other end. So next we just need to go onto Colin's GitHub page. So Colzilla on GitHub, I'll put the link in the description. We're going to just download the RC USB files here. And I'm just going to open up another file browser window here and then connect my Itsy Bitsy with the micro USB cable. So we should see that pop up. And from there, we just need to move a few files over, like with a USB stick. So we're going to copy the Adafruit HID file, and you're going to choose the appropriate code. I'm using the SSR 3-channel code because that's what I've set up this this unit to do. But whichever one you put on there, you need to make sure you rename it to code once it's on the Itsy Bitsy. That's going to tell it which one to actually run when it's hooked up to the computer. So now that we've got the code on our device, next thing to do is click on Start, search for USB game controllers, and look at properties in there for CircuitPython HID. We want to go into Settings and Calibrate, and then from there I like to click on Display Raw Data. I'm going to move the trigger and the throttle on the radio so that we can see those values registering all the way up and down and left and right. Then click through to Next. I've also set up a third channel on mine to one of the switches on the radio, so I just want to make sure that's changing. So going all the way from a negative to a positive value there, that is fine. Click on Next and Finish. And then in the test screen, we should be able to move our throttle all the way up and down and steering left to right. And when I press that button on the radio, we should see the Z-axis change up top there too. So I can use that for marshalling. Okay, so that's it. Finished VRC USB adapter for about 25 to 35 Canadian dollars, depending which board you go for. Hope that helps. If you've got any questions, if you want to see a video with the Trinket MO, I can make one of those as well. So let me know in the comments, and give this video a like or a share if you found it helpful.